Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. Today, we are going to dive into a topic that is very close to the heart of so many people around the world: learning English. And not just learning it slowly or painfully, but learning it in a way that feels natural, enjoyable, and effective. You see, English is no longer just a school subject. It has become the language of business, of technology, of travel, of entertainment, and even of our online lives. And yet, even though so many people try to study it, they often feel stuck or frustrated. Today, Kasem and I want to explore one of the smartest, simplest, and most powerful tools for improving your English much faster than traditional methods, and that is podcasts.
Yes, Sarah, I think this is going to be a very exciting discussion because podcasts have completely changed the way people learn languages. They are free, they are available everywhere, and most importantly, they give you direct access to real conversations, real voices, and real experiences. So if you have been studying English for years but you still struggle to speak fluently, or if you are just starting your journey and you want to know the fastest way to build your skills, then this conversation is for you. We are going to cover why so many people fail to learn English quickly, what makes podcasts so powerful, how you can use them step by step, and what strategies will help you turn listening into real speaking ability.
Kasem, maybe we should begin with the obvious question. Why do so many people spend years trying to learn English, yet they still cannot speak fluently or confidently?
That is a fantastic place to start, Sarah. I believe the main reason is that most people are learning in a way that is completely unnatural. Think about how we learned our first language as children. We did not sit with a grammar book, we did not memorize lists of irregular verbs, and we did not spend hours filling out exercises. We simply listened to the people around us every single day, our parents, our family, our friends, and through that constant exposure, our brains slowly absorbed the language. But in schools, most learners get maybe 2 or 3 hours of English per week, usually with a heavy focus on grammar, reading, and writing, but almost no listening or speaking practice. So of course, their progress feels very slow. It is not because they are not smart. It is because the method is not natural.
Yes, that makes so much sense. I often meet learners who know a lot of grammar rules. Sometimes they can even explain the rules better than native speakers, but when they try to have a simple conversation, they freeze. And I think the reason is, as you said, they never practiced enough real listening and speaking. They studied the theory, but they never connected it to real life. It is almost like learning to drive a car by reading the manual, but never sitting behind the wheel. You know the rules, but you cannot actually drive on the road.
Exactly. And another problem is that many learners expect quick results without consistent practice. They think that if they attend one class per week or watch a few lessons on YouTube, their English will suddenly become fluent. But language is not like mathematics where you can just learn formulas and solve problems. Language is a living skill. It requires daily contact, daily use, and daily listening. If you are not surrounding yourself with English, your brain simply does not get enough input to grow.
Right, so it sounds like the problem is not intelligence. It is not ability. It is simply that people are not giving their brains enough natural exposure to the language.
That's it. And that's where podcasts come in. They give you that missing exposure.
So let's go deeper. Why exactly are podcasts such a powerful tool for learning English compared to traditional methods?
Great question. First of all, podcasts are authentic. When you listen to a podcast, you are hearing real people having real conversations about real topics. This is completely different from most textbooks, where the dialogues are short, artificial, and sometimes even unnatural. In a podcast, you hear the rhythm of the language, the intonation, the pauses, the way words are connected. And that is exactly what learners need to develop fluency. Second, podcasts are flexible. You can listen to them anywhere and anytime. Unlike classes where you need to sit in a classroom, podcasts go with you. You can listen while walking, driving, cooking, or even exercising. That means you can turn hours of passive time into learning time. Third, podcasts are motivating. When you choose a podcast on a topic you actually enjoy, like travel, business, history, or even comedy, it doesn't feel like studying. It feels like entertainment, and yet your brain is absorbing the language in the background.
Yes, I really like that last point. When learning feels enjoyable, you are much more likely to keep going. I think one reason people give up on English is because the process feels boring or stressful. But with podcasts, you are not just learning English, you are also learning about interesting ideas, inspiring stories, or even daily news. So your motivation is naturally higher.
Exactly, and motivation is one of the biggest keys to success.
Okay, Kasem, so let's get practical. If someone is listening right now and they want to start using podcasts to learn English more quickly, what should they actually do step by step?
Excellent. I think there are 3 main steps. Step 1, choose the right podcast. You need something that matches your level but also interests you. If it's too difficult, you'll feel frustrated. If it's too easy, you'll get bored. So look for podcasts where you can understand at least 60 to 70%, and the rest will challenge you. Step 2, listen actively, not passively. Many people just play a podcast in the background while doing something else, which is fine, but for learning, you also need active listening. That means focusing fully, repeating sentences out loud, pausing to check words, and even writing down interesting expressions. Step 3, connect listening to speaking. After listening, try to imitate what you heard. Repeat the sentences, practice the pronunciation, or even record yourself and compare. The goal is not just to understand the podcast, but to train your mouth and tongue to produce the same sounds.
That's so clear and helpful. And I would also add that consistency is more important than intensity. In other words, it is better to listen to podcasts every single day for 20 minutes than to listen for 3 hours once a week. Daily exposure keeps the language fresh in your brain, and it slowly builds fluency.
Exactly. Language learning is like planting a tree. You don't pour 50 liters of water in one day and then forget about it for a month. You give it a little water every day, and over time it grows strong. Podcasts give you that daily water for your English brain.
Think learners also like to hear real success stories. Do you know people who improved their English dramatically using podcasts?
Yes, absolutely. I know one student who struggled for years in traditional classes, always stuck at the intermediate level. Then she decided to commit to listening to one podcast episode every single day. First, it was difficult, but she kept going. After 6 months, her listening comprehension improved so much that she could follow native conversations easily. And within a year, her speaking became more fluent, simply because she had absorbed so much natural language from podcasts.
That's amazing, and I've seen similar cases. The key is always consistency and active practice. And maybe this is the message we should leave with our listeners. You don't need expensive courses, you don't need to move to another country. You just need to make English a daily habit, and podcasts are the easiest way to do that.
Exactly, Sarah. If you treat podcasts as your daily teacher, you will be surprised at how quickly your English improves.
So to wrap up today's conversation, let's remember what we learned. Many people fail to learn English quickly not because they are not capable, but because their method is unnatural and inconsistent. Podcasts solve this by giving us real, authentic language in an easy and enjoyable format.
Yes, and if you want to learn English quickly, start by choosing podcasts that interest you, listen actively every day, repeat and practice out loud, and stay consistent. Over time, you will notice a huge improvement in your listening, your speaking, and your overall confidence.
We really hope this conversation has inspired you to use podcasts as part of your English journey. Remember, the key is daily practice, not perfection.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you success on your English learning journey.
Goodbye, and see you in the next episode.